So the world is filled with bugs, rocks, and other types of shit. And really big worms, who are complete pompous assholes and can also see the future. But they all get brain damage and die. Except one, who lived but got a crippling loneliness, so he also died soon after. Oh, never mind, he actually isekai'd into a smaller, much forkier form. So of his smaller size, he can now stop being lonely and touch grass by talking to the fellow bugs. Vaccines cause autism. The earth is flat. I have no idea what those words mean, but they sound dumb, so fuck off. Unfortunately, the bugs all have brain damage and are way too stupid for the Pale King. So, he forms an intellectual aura, which makes the bugs develop their brains somehow. I have no fucking idea how he does this. But the bugs really love their intelligence boost, so they treated him like a god. So the Pale King took advantage and started colonizing. Now, most of this place accepted him, except the mantises and the fungal wastes. Hey, I'm gonna give you 2 days to get the fuck out of here. But it's our land? Nuh-uh, I discovered it. Ooh, what's that door? What the fuck is this place? Get me out. Alright, so never mind. You guys can actually just stay. Just make sure everything that's behind that fucking door stays there, okay? Do that and you'll never see me again. I'm gonna just leave. Bye-bye, I'm good. In his expansion, he also discovered a sea of black liquid, which since he's racist, he sealed that shit up and ran as far as he could, thus finishing the creation of his kingdom, Hallownest. He also found the whitest person on Earth, who was also a tree, and got married. And they were happy. Until the Fanta Nation attacked. See, while doing his expansion, he also took the Moth people as followers, but before him, they worshipped another being, the CEO of Fanta, who's also the sun as a moth, the Radiance. So he is really pissed, and he's getting revenge by giving the Pale King negative aura, which causes the bugs to have brain damage again. Well, that doesn't seem good. What the fuck is going on with you, dude? To try and stop this brain damage infection, the Pale King enlists some insane guy and Monomon the teacher, and they both try different ways to combat this infection. The insane guy just kills a ton of people and then experiments with their souls, which does lead to him being able to do weird soul magic and creating fucked up bioweapons, but it's also completely useless against the Radiance. Instead, Fanta actually counters souls, so it's kind of a negative. Monomon, on the other hand, does experiments on the Black Sea and realizes that the Coca-Cola liquid counters Fanta. So the Pale King makes a plan. So, what if we take a white kid, do interracial mixing with that fucking Coca-Cola, and remove any sense of soul. And then we make that kid fight the weird moth guy. Despite being a very weird plan, that's the best he could come up with. And he tries to achieve this by making a ton of kids, then just throwing them into the abyss, which results in 90% of them dying. Like thousands of kids. Maybe millions. Guy's a bit fucked up, okay? But it does eventually result in the Hollow Knight, the perfect counter to the Radiance. Well, it would be if the Pale King wasn't a fucking idiot. He made a fatal blunder, hidden away between saw blades and spears. The look.
No, don't make it gay. Just no, you looked at me. That's why. If you didn't look at me and carried on, it wouldn't have been weird.
This fucking moron looked at the Hollow Knight, which caused him to develop a soul. And despite knowing that he fucked up, he told this to nobody else and instead hid it in fucking Narnia. And went through with the plan anyway by building this really big fucking egg to hold the knight. But, to properly hold him, he needed 3 big brain people to sleep on his ops for it to work. The first one being some random rich guy, the second being Monomon, and the last one was in Deep Nest, Hera, a really big spider who only agreed to help in exchange for a child, that child being Hornet. And with that deal complete, the Hollow Knight and the Dreamers are in place, so they form the Coca-Cola Corporation, and try to banish Fanta by putting him inside the Coke Knight and locking him away behind the big brain door, which worked for a bit until it didn't. So the Pale King fecked off and somehow managed to put the entirety of his palate inside some guy's mind, and he also filled it with saw blades, and then he dies. And with his death, nearly all residents of Hallownest have become XQC viewers. But one of the dead kids, well, he isn't dead, called the Knight, somehow managed to escape the abyss, and he ventured back into the kingdom. By doing a ton of bullshit and with Hornet's help, he becomes the new king of Hallownest, despite Hallownest not really existing anymore, so he's kind of the king of nothing. But it does allow him access to the abyss, and by meeting the White Lady and desecrating the king's dead body, he merges with the liquid to become the CEO of Coke, and then by killing the Free Dreamers and the assist by Hornet, he goes into the Hollow Knight's mind and assimilates Fanta into the Coca-Cola company, which achieves basically nothing, as the residents of Hallownest are either dead or have brain rot. But, well, that is the normal ending. But the game's not over yet. There's a couple DLCs to explain too, so let's go through them. So first, the Grim Troupe. It's a traveling circus which travels to dying kingdoms and dances on their graves to eat the misery or something. They pull up to Hallownest, the knight does their weird rituals, and they feck off. And that's kind of it. Moving on to the final topic, Godhome. A group of gold creatures called God Seekers put themselves inside one big boy's mind, and they travel to Hallownest so they can farm aura themselves by basking in the aura of others. And for some reason they consider V-cast creatures like the massive Moss Charger as gods, but hate the knight despite his Coke CEO status. By doing their rituals and farming aura himself, the knight eventually becomes the Coke god, which results in the entirety of Hallownest being consumed, or the knight being banished to the Shadow Realm by this magic flower. Either one of these endings are technically canon for Silksong, so no clue which one is the real one. And that's it for Hollow Knight. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'd want more of these dumb retellings.